Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and as we build towards another big game this weekend, we have some news to go over, some stories surrounding different issues at Celtic and in general Scottish football, so strap yourselves in. Let's start off the week with I say start off the week, it feels weird for me because I done the match reaction yesterday, which makes today feel like a Monday, so let's all just pretend, shall we? Today is Monday, whether you like it or no. Hello, welcome back to the channel. If you haven't already, please make sure to hit like and subscribe. It'd be much appreciated as we try and get as close to 50,000 subscribers this year. Drop down below, both those buttons absolutely free. We have quite a few wee stories to cover today. It's almost like a bulletin type video, so stick around, be here for the long run, and you won't miss out on anything. So, it's been a roller coaster of emotions and stories in regard to Dyson Maeda and his injury status. We're waiting to find out whether or not he will be fit and ready to finish off the season. We originally heard that his season was over, that the injury was too severe for him to come back before the curtain fell on the Scottish Premiership this season. However, during the week last week, we heard that maybe, just maybe, through the word of the manager himself, Brendan Rodgers, that Dyson Maeda's season isn't over, that the injury wasn't as bad as once feared. So we heard that there's a good chance he might be back for as soon as this weekend against Hearts at Celtic Park. Now, we await to find out official confirmation. There was talk that he'd be back at Lennox Town this week, so we await those images and videos with patience. But some people speculating in my comments section, online altogether, and including even Chris Sutton, that it's all mind games. A few articles been thrown about, including this one by Chris Sutton, that it could just be a one big, massive bluff from Celtic to try and throw Rangers off coming into this sort of business end of the season. Listen, I believe the manager, and I have a very, very good feeling that we're going to see the images and videos soon that we need to back up that Dyson Maeda's in training and ready to play again. Just be patient, and I'm sure Celtic will have that content out there very, very soon. But who knows? Maybe it is a bluff. I'm not quite sure why Brendan Rodgers would bluff the return of Dyson Maeda. Whether his season was finished or no. And whether that made a difference to the mentality of Rangers, I don't think it's worth the speculation. I really don't think it's something that would have thrown them off wildly and chasing Celtic for this league title. So, yeah, an interesting opinion from Chris Sutton on that one, but I have a good feeling about things, and hopefully we hear very, very soon around surrounding the fitness of Dyson Maeda. So while we've been waiting on that, we've had some news in regards to the end of season awards. Matt O'Reilly has been nominated for PFA Player of the Year. Yes, the announcement came out today from the Players Football Association. This was the nominations for the Player of the Year awards. It sees 2 Rangers players make the list, but only 1 from Celtic. PFA Scotland Premiership Player of the Year nominees, sponsored by Stagecoach. The X19's a cracking bus, I must admit. But the 4 players nominated, Jack Butland, James Tavernier, Lawrence Shankland and Matt O'Reilly. Those were the 4 players put up for the top award. Joe Hart doesn't make the list, in my opinion. Celtic's Player of the Year, which I thought would have maybe had him in for a shout of Player of the Year, but obviously PFA choosing their goalkeeper in Jack Butland. Hard to argue. He's had a great season for Rangers. I'll give them their credit where it's due. So there is your 4 nominees. Usually it is 4 every year. We're used to seeing a couple of Celtic players in there, but it has been a sort of stale season for a lot of players, even the likes of Kyogo, who hasn't got firing this year, Rio Hitati, who's been injured all year, Vickers, who's only had 16 starts, I think. It's been a really difficult year for us to try and string form together and starts together for a lot of players. So those were the 4 players nominated in that category. As for the rest of the awards in regards to Scottish football, here were all the nominees. As you'll notice in the Young Player of the Year category, no Celtic players this time round, but once again, not a shock. I believe that the PFA cut off the age a lot lower than what Celtic do. So for example, Celtic have nominated Matt O'Reilly for Young Player of the Year at their in-house awards, the Celtic award ceremony, but the SPFL or the PFA, they don't do that. So Young Player of the Year has David Watson, Lennon Miller, Lyle Cameron and Ross McCausland of Rangers. Two of those players who I'd be very interested in seeing coming to Celtic, and David Watson and Lennon Miller. The Women's Player of the Year, we do have a nomination in there. Congratulations to Amy Gallagher, who's been nominated for Celtic. She's joined by Jorien Bacombe from Hibs, Kirsty McLean and Rachel Rowe from Rangers. And then finally, the Young Player of the Year for the women's category doesn't feature any Celtic players, but Ava Easton, Bailey Hutchison, Kirsty McLean and Mia McCauley nominated there. So quite a weird one this time round for Celtic. Matt O'Reilly and Amy Gallagher flying the flag for Celtic, only 2 out of 16 when it comes to the nominees in the players categories, and we're going to talk about the managers one in a minute because there's been a snub there too. So just kind of shows you the kind of year that we've had at Celtic. There hasn't been a lot of standout performers, it hasn't been a standout season. But I do believe that Matt O'Reilly should be Player of the Year in Scotland. I think he's had a better season than James Taverner, most certainly. I think that he's had a better season than Lawrence Shanklin despite his goals. I think that Matt O'Reilly's a far better player and been far more important. I think his closest competitor, in my opinion, would be Jack Butland. And just for old bias sake, I'd be saying give the award to Matt O'Reilly. PFA Manager of the Year, no Celtic manager, no Rangers manager. It's probably happened quite recently, but I cannot remember off the top of my head the last time that would have happened. Brendan Rodgers has been snubbed in the chase for the Manager of the Year vote, despite the fact he could still win a double. And Philippe Coman, he's been given a snub despite the fact he could win a treble, which is strange, but nonetheless, the 3 nominees, Derek McInnes, Tony Docherty and John McGlynn, they're the 3 nominees for Manager of the Year this season. So it's been a poor awards season for Celtic this time round, but listen, I know it's a great accomplishment for the people who get nominated and win these awards. At the end of the day, as a supporter, all I care about is winning the league and the Scottish Cup now. I don't really care who wins Player of the Year, I must admit. Talking about our Player of the Year nominee in Matt O'Reilly, he has spoken about how he's issued a ban to his family from talking about a potential exit from Celtic. Of course, all year it's all that's been in the news surrounding Matt O'Reilly's name. Will he leave Celtic next season? Who's looking at him? What's the transfer status for him? Well, he was asked by Sky Sports if there has been a ban put on all of that talk in the O'Reilly household. This is what he said. Yeah, I have, to be fair. I have said that to my parents and my agent and even people in the club. People naturally want to talk about stuff like that, but I think it's a big distraction when I've got a job to do here. So Matt O'Reilly not interested in speaking about transfers at the moment. I think we all know what the situation's going to be with him this summer, and it would be naive to suggest that I'm confident he'll stay at the club, but it's nice to see he's focused on the task. He's still got a huge few games here, a chance to win 2 more trophies before a potential exit from Celtic, but eyes on the prize for the time being, and then summer can be his time to discuss whether or not he wants to stay at the club or move on. But good. Elite mentality. I like it, Matt. There's not been much else in the news, I must say. However, there was a statement on Celtic FC this morning, or CelticFC.com this morning, I should say, in regards to the Celtic Soccer Academy. This was the article. Celtic Soccer Academy, the international department of Celtic FC, have partnered with Trainu, a specialist e-learning platform and training solution to help transform how they interact and develop coaches and clubs globally. Basically, it's a coaching program that will stretch over the world to kind of simplify it. I'll show this part of the article. The long-term vision for the project is to create a coach education platform that will provide game knowledge and improve coaching practices for coaches at all levels of the game. However, the initial release will be reserved for our partner clubs with a wider public release in 2024. So a lot of courses and modules to try and get coaches up to speed worldwide. As you know, Celtic's kind of got a global reach, and it kind of targets this bigger network than what we just see on paper. It's a lot of woke nonsense, really. No, I'm joking. It's probably very beneficial, but I don't think it's anything that's going to have a direct impact of what we see at Celtic Park, I must say. Who knows? We might train the next Alec Ferguson, the next Jock Stein or something through this coaching programme. We might find somebody from any corner of the globe that will come and take us to new heights. So, you know, these are wee things that really just kind of bring up the status and kind of modern element of the club. You know, we try to network like the big clubs do. We have coaches and club programmes everywhere in the world and partners elsewhere in the world. It's all part of a wider thing. But as I said, it's been a quiet news day. Right then, that does it for today. A few things to obviously talk about that we've kind of went through. But aside from that, not anything breaking, not anything huge. It's that tense point of the season now where we're just kind of waiting for time to bubble by so we can get to the big ones, which is our 5 Cup finals. So if you've enjoyed today's video, like and subscribe. Let me know your opinions in the comments below, and I'll see you all next time.